When you see Kuma in competitive play, you'll note that they do this. Like that. And you'll note that the opponent, for some reason, is just blocking for 50 seconds at a time. Even the pro players, when they are on the receiving end of this, they just block. You can't do anything. What's up guys, TheMainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and just for fun I'm now gonna record a top 10 broken moves in Tekken 8. Videos like that are always interesting and you always learn something, and then you also go like, oh, so that's why I lose to that character all the time. I did one for Tekken 7 and you know, a lot of people liked that, so a viewer was like, can't you make one for Tekken 8? So I'm gonna try to do that, and of course I start with none other than my son, Jin Kazama. Jin is gonna be the only character on this list that has 2 moves in the top 10. It would be nice to pick one move on, you know, each of these dumb characters, but I think Jin's are so astronomically OP, bullshit, dogshit moves that he needs to have 2 moves, and hopefully I do well enough of an argument for it that you understand that he needs to have 2 moves on the list. So first off for me is Jin's Heat Smash. If someone said this is the best move in the game, I would have no objection to give you. I would just say, I tip my hat to you, sir. That sounds sensible. This is version 1 that I just did. Looks really cool, right? That's awesome. No one does that one. Everyone does version 2, which is by inputting 4 as well for a right thrust kick there. This will wall splat from 95 football fields away. Into combo of choice, into half-life. It tracks a lot. It has a fuck ton of reach. Way more reach than is ever justified on a move of this type. So a lot of tracking, a lot of reach. Gigantic amounts of damage. Like even if you do something super basic. Like this. It's pretty much always half-life. Sometimes if they get the side splat on the wall, you can see them do like 60-70% in damage. To add insult to injury, if this move is blocked and at the wall, and you're slammed into the wall, which happens a lot considering the pushback on this attack, Jin gets plus 21, and he does chip damage, and this is just unacceptable. Especially as you don't want to look at this move in a vacuum. It's Jin, who is a collection of some of the most amazing moves in the game. He gets access to this Heat Smash. He gets access to this plus 21. As soon as Jin is standing in heat like this, opponent goes, okay, he has his Heat Smash. He has a loaded gun. It's pointing towards your fucking ballsack and your cock, mind you. So you don't do anything. You just stand there like this, and then they play around mind games with the Heat Smash. They don't pull the trigger on the Heat Smash. They start doing shit like this. This is also plus 15. Does a ton of chip, because you don't dare duck, you don't dare sidestep, you don't dare do anything. And then he pulls the trigger on this, and then he might mix you up with whatever else. But yeah, Jin's Heat Smash is arguably the best move in the game. So now, number 2, Jin gets a second move in the top 10, and it's none other than his legacy string 214, which has been there since Tekken 4. And this is a string that has pretty much always remained the same, but they had to buff it. And I shit you not, when this game dropped in alpha and then in the beta test, the last hit on counter hit was a launcher. They got knocked down and he got CD1, which would bound into a full juggle. This was so dumb that it survived, you know, a few weeks and then it was gone. It still remains though that counter hit property, in that he gets a free Scourge here, or he gets a free CD1 for Oki. Of course also means That is wall splats, the last hit, on counter hit. You might think this is not super busted, but it's all of the properties together on this string that makes this string invincible. Actually, Arslan Ash has talked a lot about this string lately and how problematic it is, because Jin standing 2 is only 10 frames in speed. It's as fast as a normal jab. So you do 2-1, and the second hit here is not a high, that's a mid. This is a perfect string to keep people in check, because you can't duck it. On hit, it's +6, and on block, it's -3. Jin is completely free to just throw this around, and you're so afraid of the follow-up that you don't dare do anything. He's only -3. You're basically back to neutral, but there's always the threat of a follow-up. A follow-up mid kick, it's not a high. It's a mid, and it's safe on block at -9. It's safe. Why he's only -3 here, when he has the threat of a third safe mid kick, I will never understand. If there's a threat of a third strike, he should probably, Street Fighter, he should be -6 or 7. They did the same to Asusuna. They didn't allow her to have frames like that on a similar string. But Jin is allowed this for some reason. And if that hits on normal hit, the kick, he gets +4. And of course on counter hit, that happens. And at the wall, of course, I mean, my god, you won't do a single thing here. You can't afford getting counter hit into half your health bar. Jin gets 2 moves on the top 10 most busted moves, and it's Heat Smash and it's 2-1-4. And next up we have Law, Martial Law. Law is of course one of the strongest characters in the game. He is S tier by a mile and has some amazing buttons we could discuss, but the best one is 1-1-1. So this is a heat engager string that's not a natural, right? If I mash it out like this, nothing. -12. But it's a counter hit string. So if I counter hit, I get the whole thing. And this is counter hit confirmable. So you can do 1-1 like this. And if you note that it counter hits, you'll add the last hit. You can Twitch confirm this. You see that they press into it, you finish the string. Now when he is in heat, full launch. Full launch from a 10 frame jab. And again, he'll Twitch confirm. He'll see that you mash into the first 2 hits. So he'll confirm and add the last one, right? And dash out of it. This is the only character in the game that will launch you from 10 frames in the open. Any other 10 frame string, be it Dragunov, be it Lars, this type of move, when we are in heat, it will knock down like this into a free follow-up. And I believe when Season 2 comes around, it will be the same for Law's 1-1-1. It will knock down into a free 4-4-3. So yeah, Law takes 3rd place. And now we're gonna discuss Mr. Bolognese. Claudio makes the list at place number 4. And if you've listened to my videos a bit, you probably know what move I'm about to show you. It's Claudio's DP, down back 1+2. This move doesn't look like a lot when he's in his neutral state. It's a knockdown mid that's very evasive. He goes down like this, like a DP. That looks really awkward, but it's extremely evasive. It also acts like a steel pedal. See the pancake flip there on Jin into Oki. So again, mid, DP, evasive, steel pedal, right? Nice, -12 on block. Now my hand is glowing. Note that I'm not in heat, right? My hand is glowing. This is Starburst, his install. You see the glowing star there at the top on the UI, underneath my health bar. Now I have access to Starburst attacks, so enhanced attacks. So now my DP launches. Natural hit launcher. Right? Now my DP is not only safe, but -2 on block. -2 on block. On a long range evasive mid launcher that hits grounded and pancake flips. And again, when Claudio is in heat, he has access to Starburst until his meter runs out. And again, you see the pushback here. -2 with pushback. Yeah, not only is it safe, but yeah, it's back to neutral. And if it hits, your opponent is dead. I don't know what the combo is, but it's 1,000,000 damage. One of the absolute dumbest moves in the game goes to Claudio. So he's at position number 4. Now we're gonna talk about the samurai man, Yoshimitsu. And you probably know what move I'm gonna talk about. And it's the flash. There are 2 versions of flash. One from normal stance, and then you have NSS, no sword stance. He sheaves his sword. Sheaves it, right, is what it's called. From normal stance, the flash comes out at 6 frames, and it is not a launcher. It gives, you know what, we're just gonna do... So this is neutral stance flash. It does not launch. Gives a free back 2-2 heat engager. So this is a 6 frame reversal that recovers very quickly. You see how quickly I can spam this. So again, a 6 frame counter hit attack. It actually has a physical hitbox, so it is an attack. It's a 6 frame counter hit attack that recovers very quickly. So it's extremely hard to whiff punish. And this leads to a situation where you never really have plus frames against Yoshi, because this activates faster than a Rage Art. A Rage Art is 8 frames activation, Power Crush is 7 frames. This is 6 frames. So you can never take your frames against Yoshi. And then we have the NSS flash. This one has a bigger hitbox. The hitbox is so big you can actually run in and get this to hit. And you can actually whiff punish like a jab with this. You can duck a jab and then do this and whiff punish. It's pretty insane. This one is not 6 frames. This one is 8 frames. But this one is also a full launcher. A full launcher. And it also heals Yoshi quite a lot. So 8 frame whiff punish launcher, 8 frame reversal that heals Yoshi, launches, does 1,000,000 damage. This is probably the best move in the game. Probably. And then we're gonna go to a classic, Mr. Dragunov, who's no longer the undisputed #1 character in the game. He's more like top 3, top 4 now. I mean top 5 depending on how you look at it. But what is definitely top 10 is still his sneak 4. So that's quarter circle forward plus right kick, so the 4 button. We've talked a lot about this move. This is an infinity reach mid button. Like literally infinity mid. Tracks a lot to both sides, so the sidestep to the right is very specific with timing. If he dashes out of it, it is of course a full launcher, of course. It also hits grounded, of course. And also for some reason, with all of these attributes, it is +7 on block and does chip. That is one of the biggest mysteries in this game, is why does he, for all intents and purposes, have a demon pull that's +7 on block that hits grounded? I can't explain it. I don't know what went through the head of a game designer who said that should be +7. But it happened. Without this move, Dragunov would fall in the tier list. Fall in the tier list. Bryan Fury, one of my favorite characters. With Bryan, you think of Requiem, Core Circle Forward 1+2, You think of this move, core circle back 1. But actually, his best move is a string he gets as soon as he is in Snake Eyes. So that's his install. And it's just like Claudio. When you get that token, you have access to one powered up attack, right? One Snake Eyes attack, and then it's gone. Like, for example, dick, 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 dick. And he does 5 dick, 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 dick. That's Snake Eyes, right? And when I'm in Heat, I have access to Snake Eyes stuff, right? Until my Heat bar runs out. That's how those installs work. Claudio works this way. Bryan works this way. When Yoshi is in Heat, he has NSS attacks until he runs out, right? And now I can do a string called the Incinerator. You've probably seen this string, 4214. He always has access to this. But when he is in Snake Eyes, he can do a variation of this string called Incinerator, which is 4212, 32. This does 50 damage, which is very juicy. And you're like, oh my god, wow, 50 damage. But that's not too bad. He also has Heat Smash, etc, etc. Well, the problem is all of the attributes that are built into this string. If I do it on Jin's block here, it's -10. But with this pushback, it's not very likely Jin is gonna punish me, right? You notice the distance. That's -10 with a lot of pushback. So it's like, for all intents and purposes, he's safe here, Bryan. You can actually power crush the last hit. You can power crush in between here, but you can't sidestep. You can't sidestep. Like, there's just no counterplay. And it's a natural string. So all of this is guaranteed from the first hit. It's hit confirmable. But the real problem starts in that every single hit realigns. Every single attack he does there realigns to both sides. So the string is homing. You can't sidestep this string. If he chooses to end at 3 hits, he's only -2. If he ends at 4 hits, he's only -3. So Bryan players can super easily mind game you with this string. Oh, they end here at -2, and then they might do it again if they are in Heat. And it does chip as well. Only -3. And on hit, for example, ending here, Bryan is +9. He can bully with stuff like this. I hope it's not too complicated. I'm just trying to explain that this string is perfect and there's no counterplay. If he does the whole thing in the neutral, -10 with pushback, you can't punish it. Every single attack is homing. You can't sidestep it. If he ends at 3 hits, he's -2. If he ends at 4 hits, he's -3. On hit here, +9. You're not gonna do shit. Oh, and you end up right next to his face. Hey, oh my god. So he throws a taunt. Or he does it again. And there's nothing you can do. He's basically back to neutral. And he does chip damage. This string does everything. I hope I've explained it well, but it's probably the best string in the game. There's no counterplay. Bryan wins every time he uses it, be it on block or on hit. Okay, and next up we have King. So with Tekken 8, pretty much every character in the game lost their very fast mid-counter hit launchers. A lot of characters had stuff like that in prior games, or, you know, all the Magic 4 style stuff went away. So many characters had 11 to 13 frame counter hit launchers. That was all removed. But for some reason, and this puzzled a lot of people, King was allowed to retain down for 2-1. This was a counter hit launcher in Tekken 7, and it still is in Tekken 8. Yeah, 76 damage. And this is a 13 frame mid check that is -6 on block, which is not bad at all. Mid with decent range, right? What a great King player will do is that he'll see that you press when he's doing the down for 2. And he'll see that you did something, you attacked. And then he'll add the second hit. So technically this move is unsafe, because while it is -4 on block, it's still a mid into a high that you can duck, right, and then punish King. But a really great King player, if you've seen the John play, he'll only add that second hit if he sees you pressed into the first hit. He'll add the second hit, the elbow, and launch you. And using it this way, he never takes a risk. He'll stay at down for 2. If he sees you press into it, he adds the second hit and you're launched. This is possible due to this move having a huge counter hit window on the down for 2. You have quite a bit of time to register that the down for 2 counter hitted, and then big delay window, boom, add the 1. This was something that happened during Tekken 7. It got that big counter hit window. It is hard to use well, but when you use it like the John, it's just busted. And again, this is also an example of a move where if King was to lose that attack, you would never see him in competitive play, I think. You already see him so little, but I think if this was removed, like, the character would be gone. Now we're gonna go to Nina. Nina also has quite a few attacks we could get into, like talking about down for 1-2. But I'm specifically going to talk about Nina's... oh, we are in offense. Her back 2-2. So when I press back 2 with Nina, I get a slap. It looks pathetic. Like, look at this. It looks like it shouldn't really hurt anyone. No grown man, at least. It's 12 frame startup, which is very fast. And it is homing, right? And she does this, back 2-2, like this. This is a natural for 28 damage. Again, 12 frame homing. Plus 5. And on block, I'm -6, right? I'm -6. 12 frame homing, so you can't step this character, right? This is already good enough. You're like, man, that's sick. Well, if this counter hits, she can confirm, again, a huge, just like King, big counter hit window. I add a third hit when I notice I've counter hit you. Suddenly, I'm looking at 50 damage and plus 9 frames. If this is at the wall... Yeah. Yeah, best string in the game goes to either this or Incinerator. Yeah. And the last character is gonna be none other than Heihachi's pet bear, Kuma, yo. Okay, so Kuma, when he is in heat, he can do the Mishima Electric, Berectric, I think they call it. Rangshu says Berectric. He does this. Eesh, eesh. And that's a full launch. Wait, what combo do they do here? I'm not a Kuma main. I mean, etc. When you see Kuma in competitive play, you'll note that they do this. Like that. And you'll note that the opponent, for some reason, is just blocking for 50 seconds at a time. There's no counterplay to this. When Kuma is in heat, you just... well, that sounds good. That sounds dangerous. Brown bear in heat. Run. There's nothing you can do. Even the pro players, when they are on the receiving end of this, they just block. You can't do anything. He does a 15 frame startup electric that has no execution and is plus 5 on block. And the math and frames don't add up. This is a special mid, meaning you can block it crouching or standing, but it also means you can't duck it. So they just do this over and over, and there's no counterplay. Like, even if you get this trade, note the damage Jin takes. His Heat Smash is also one of the fastest in the game. 13 frame startup. And is super evasive and hits grounded. and has super long reach and does 55 damage. And this is a very classic flowchart. Electric into Heat Smash. You can't power crush this, you can't rage art this. Okay, Io Richie just reminded me here to very quickly mention the fact that the Bear Electric can be charged up, and then now you can't even power crush it. Because charge up attacks blow up your armor on power crush. So literally nothing you can do. And this one, the charged up one, is +9 on block. +9. You don't know if he does a charged up one. You don't know if he does a normal one. It's just unbeatable. So yeah, Bear Fist has no counterplay and needs to be nerfed. It's dumb as fuck. That's gonna be my list of top 10 most broken attacks. So we had Jin Heat Smash, Jin 214, Low 111, Claudio Damak 1+2, Flash, Dragunov Sneak 4, Bryan's Incinerator, King down for 2-1, Nina back to 2, and then Bear Electric. I think that's a pretty good list. There are other dumb attacks we could have mentioned maybe as a honorary mention. I still think Jin Scourge is pretty high up there, for example. But I thought that was a pretty good list. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.